Hi, I'm Dan Whittaker. We're just here to take a look at me working with one of my Cheshire County senior players, Ron Harrison, on his game, and how we've used this 3D to take his game to another level in terms of a little bit more distance. So the first bit we've got on the screen here is showing the angle between his left arm and body. So this is measured as the lead shoulder. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this to the top of the backswing, and we can see here at the top how this angle is at 54 degrees. Now we can notice how it very quickly moves straight to 55, 56, and then obviously that number then continues onwards. So what we'll notice here is on the right hand side on the sequence graph, we can see that the blue line, which is his lead arm, when we get this a little bit later on in the swing, we notice that this isn't peaking at as high a speed as it possibly could be doing, just because he's spinning a little bit too much, not making a lateral move. So his upper body movement is therefore dragging this arm with him, and he's not creating much separation. So what we did is on the bottom screen of the changes we made, and we can now see that once we're at the top here, we'll notice that this 56 changes to 55. Okay, and then it goes to 54. And it holds a split moment and then releases. So ideally what I'm looking for is for that to very slightly increase in number, just 1 or 2 degrees maximum. This shows that there's a little bit of torque and pressure built through that lead left shoulder as that lower body is transitioning. We can then see how this blue line on the right hand side peaked a little bit higher just over here. This is therefore telling us that we did pretty well in terms of this angle. So now we're going to take a look at what was happening with the lead wrist, which is the setting of the club, okay, and the consequent lag coming down. So we'll just bring that chart in right here, okay. Now what we'll notice is that the wrist angle for Ron never really got beyond 80 degrees here. You can see it went quite a long way through this and kept going down in terms of set. So what we'll notice is from the top of the backswing, went to 83, okay, went down to 79, a little bit of load, tiny bit of lag, back at 80, okay, and then at this point now, in here, it's kind of 82, 83, 84 in that area. So now what we'll see is from the top here, we will see how, because he was creating the correct sequencing coming down using that lower body laterally, that this was able to, at the same point here, still be at 62 degrees of wrist angle. So this is obviously going to have a lot more power to release later on. We can see in the avatar that the lower body is shifting a little bit more forwards, whereas it's quite static. So what he was doing was sequencing was out, starting down with the upper body, dragging everything forward. We can now see how everything is coming through. This is then going to allow for a much later release of the golf club, creating more speed, but it's all just due to the correct sequencing from the top, okay, using the body correctly, adding a lateral move, which has got to be done, whereas the spinning move or a leaning move with the upper body is going to reduce power in the golf swing.